Hello everybody, welcome back from the Badlands. I'm Carl and I've shaved my head. With me is Baku and Horror and an extra special guest if they choose to come out of their shell. How we doing everybody?
Oh, lovely. Just lovely with all of this research bullcrap that I have to go through for extensive stuff that's been going down this week. I'm sure everybody's well aware of what I'm referring to.
And if you're not, you're finna find out soon. How about you? How are you doing? Oh no. He's disappeared.
He said he's working down with his dog.
Okay. Alright, boys and girls. How can we be able to approach to you how crazy this week has been? Technically, this news started up last Friday, but has blown up within the last 4 days. And it is a fucking doozy. The title had two working examples. I think the first one that we originally were given by the one who made today's thumbnail was Downfall After Downfall. I proposed Mice and Monsters. However, we decided to go with Abuse, Misuse, and Blackmail, because that's quite literally what it is, boys and girls. It is abuse, misuse, and blackmail. It is abuse of a content creator by everyone's fucking frustratingly disliked journalist. It is the misuse of funds to control people in the game industry, and just outright manipulation, lying, cheating, stealing, and outright blackmail by the Brits who refuse to learn their place. I, for one, am appalled by the particular main segment of today's content. However, be that as it may, what we have for you today is not that hard to follow, but if you're not a fan of drama, you wouldn't really know. But before we get there, let's talk about some other shit that happened before this week, starting with Sandy Hook Families versus Alex Jones. Will they ever be satisfied? I don't think the plan was ever for them to be satisfied.
No.
I don't like this whole Trumpification of political rivals attacking each other. Granted, I say rivals, it's the left and far left and Justice Democrat part of the Democratic Party attacking figures they believe are too dangerous to be left rich. They tried it with Trump with the bullshit charges inside the court, assuming that because you can call him the first president that's been considered a convicted felon, that it's supposed to ruin his chances, but really all you're doing is ensuring that we get 4 more years of Trump. As for Alex Jones and the Sandy Hook shit, I could understand the spirit of what they wanted to take him to court for, but it's very clear it was a means to try and deplatform him and then bankrupt him. And the constant desires that they've been pushing for, now demanding to have access and rights and ownership to his social media blogging websites and accounts, this is just clear fucking highway robbery. And under the guise of we're trying to save morality in kids. But the kids are grown up. They're 16 years old. They're driving. They're trying to get friendship access to David Hogg and La Gabarina. This is bullshit and it needs to stop immediately. I think that's really all that's to be said about this situation. Do we want to go through an article? Because it's really a farce. I don't feel like you need to know anything more than what I just said. But if you want to explain it in an article that people can reference to, that would be helpful.
I can basically give the biggest points of why they're asking for this and what this entails. Apparently this came out on the 13th of June, and they're demanding the seizure of all social media accounts because of the bankruptcy. And they're claiming the reason for that is the conspiracy theorists' frequent posts to fans are a key part of the InfoWars business being liquidated to pay Jones's debts. And they claim that he's utilizing Twitter to divert followers to drjonesnaturals.com, which is his father's business, in order to make money on the back end that they cannot track. Okay.
I mean, the first thing that would start that cause is, well, we demanded money that you know he doesn't have to try and gag him. So you already know that what you're asking for is fraudulent, based on the fact that you know what you're doing is surreptitious, is malicious, and is done with intentional malice. If they have something to say back to that, you're just simply slap their hand away and say, no, you're not allowed to kill people's lives and cause life ruination just because you believe that after you've already tarred, feathered, and humiliated him, that means you can now stick him in the tar pit directly. Well, in my opinion, I have no opinion over the course of the trial. Where I can imagine if somebody stoked a hoax of something that you cared about, and your child was a victim of a tragedy, the easiest comparison, of course, is the Holocaust. If someone made light of said Holocaust and tried to question the number and pull their old, tried and boring Nick Fuentes, I'm just asking questions routine, you would throw the book at them. But the problem is that even if you wanted to claim that that was the case, what they did against Alex Jones, what they did in retribution is beyond the pale. The player intention was to destroy him, but he's not destroyed. It's just like when they tried to kick James O'Keefe out on his own, and he started O'Keefe Media. The intention was to deplatform them and remove them from what you believed was their platform of power. But they realized that taking the money away from him does not remove the platform, so now they're trying to burn the platform, if not outright seize the platform for themselves. And the question I would then have is, what are you going to do with that platform once you've taken it from him? You say, this is the means in which he creates his assets. He's diverting his assets so he can't claim them. So we want to claim his account. What do you think happens when you claim his account? It's no longer being owned by Alex Jones, which means it no longer has value. Which means once they know that you've seized his account, they're going to unfollow his account. Now you have something that's completely useless and is dwindling in account number size because it's no longer owned by Alex Jones. So what happens when he makes another account? Oh, you're still that one too? What about the next one? And the next one, and then the next one, and then the next one. This smells like a boomer. This smells like a Democratic boomer who doesn't understand social media. Which they're almost all boomers, but you know, they don't know how to stop, so it seems like a tactic from somebody who's a part of the Justice Democrats. One of the gang of five. It's not Ocasio. She has bigger fish to fry in her particular district, and in her case, maybe it's Rashid Tlaib pushing for this as amongst the people who are demanding it, but it smells of political bullshit. Yeah, it should stop immediately. Which brings us to Gina Carano versus Disney.
Oh, that's a fun one.
Go ahead and take it.
Oh, so not too long ago, Gina Carano decided to take Disney to court, Disney and Lucasfilm to court, for discrimination and wrongful termination from The Mandalorian, which we know her very well from. And I liked her character in that show. This comes up as during this time since she started that, there's been back and forth between her, the judge, and Disney/Lucasfilms about whether or not this case should be thrown out. If you're not aware of how the court system works, it moves in phases. First, especially with civil court, you start with putting this in front of the judge and the judge evaluating whether or not this should even go to court in the first place. Once it is decided that it should go to court, there's the discovery phase, which is where we are at now. This is huge because the amount of crap that can be uncovered now at this point that could very much prove her case is going to come out through here. This means that they have to share all of their evidence with each other. they have to be allowed to look at everything. So when you see these like lawsuits or these cases being discussed over social media, they're looking for the discovery phase every single time. They're like, let's see what happens when it comes to discovery, because that's where all the shit's gonna come out. Every dirty skeleton in your closet's coming out. And in this particular case, this is presided by U.S. District Judge Sherilyn Peace Garnett. And the judge basically told Disney to shove it. Disney and Lucasfilms tried to say that per Boy Scouts of America v. Dale, they shouldn't have to justify their termination of her because they have the right to not associate with her for making claims or expressing views that they disagree with that could be harmful to their brand. In this particular case, Boy Scouts v. America fired a gay assistant scoutmaster, which you can understand that could be a problem because it's a gay scoutmaster with boys, young boys. Mm-hmm. That could be a problem. And they basically said that New Jersey that didn't violate his rights because the messenger it was a bad look for the Boy Scouts, and it could be something that was harmful for these kids that could put them at risk. So Disney and Lucasfilms tried to say that the messenger is part of the message. Imagine she made comments that she hates Jews or that there was no Holocaust.
Well, she didn't make those comments. She made the opposite of those comments.
Exactly.
And Pedro Pascal is on tape and on proof and on tweet. And tweets can be referenced in this case as a part of discovery, which I hope her lawyer was smart enough to do. That she was castigated and fired, tarred and feathered and mocked as hateful and bigoted. And he was celebrated. Yep. And then given more work.
Yep. And she's been castigated and cast out from like huge roles and stuff like that, which is I think pretty fucked up. But regardless, the judge quote says, "I'm not convinced there are no disputable facts." So she says, we're gonna look into all your shit and see if there's anything there that's warrants all of this, because so far she's not convinced by the argument posed by the defendant or the defense. So that's where we're at. I'm gonna keep an eye on that, because if Disney and Lucasfilms get absolutely fucked by this, and I'm sure they will because of some other stuff that's come out we'll probably discuss next week, they're going to be pretty much fucked in the butt. And a lot of stuff is going to be a problem for them. And they're going to have to adjust everything to damage control. That's just what I think about the situation, but who knows?
I guess you can call that the power of one, the power of two, the power of many lawsuits.
Yep.
Good for her. I want them to suffer. They deserve to suffer the way they made me suffer through their television shows.
Mm-hmm. And The Mandalorian was good for a short time, and now it's not good anymore.
Mm-hmm. Well, then, of course, Jalen quitting YouTube. The resident trans...
Oh, I guess I should talk about this one, too.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to say right now up front, Carl, you need to look into Jalen, because the shit that's going on with her is hilarious. This is lolcow behavior at the highest degree.
I'm aware of their frequent podcast and frequent stream presentations during panels where they absolutely drop the hard R randomly out of nowhere, live on air, with no abandon.
It's worse. It gets worse than that. It gets funnier than that. I'll have to point you in the right direction at some point. Yeah. But if none of you know who Jalen is, Jalen, once known as Jaden, is a large creator who used to be big in the commentary sphere and then turned into the political sphere, for the same reasons as, say, Tipster. She, because she's trans, They were most known for making Minecraft YouTuber drama during their teenage formative years. Imagine how that's going to be if you're a teenager that's basically nothing but online. And that's not going to turn out well as an adult. They're also known for making very extreme statements about religious people.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning, they've literally said, if you are religious, you should be endgamed in Minecraft. Because you are de facto a bigot and de facto should not be able to breathe. She is also gone uber duber manic, I'm going to say. I'm not going to use the words that normally describe this because it's very racially motivated and I don't want to get in trouble. And I don't want to get Carl in trouble. Mm-hmm. So she is most known for going nutso when people criticize her for her actions. She will say something stupid. Someone will call her out. She will go off the rails and say really bad shit, really heinous shit, including slurs, as Carl's pointed out. Apologize, say she'll never do it again, and then the cycle will continue. Mm-hmm. Which I think is just... this is going to be a starting of a new cycle, in my opinion, because it's continued to happen, no matter how many chances people have given her. On top of that, she is absolutely obsessed with being a famous YouTuber. That is all she lives for. All she lives for. The only thing she cares about is being famous on YouTube. That's healthy, isn't it?
Don't they all?
That's the most healthy thing on the planet, is it not, chat? So, she decides this past week she's going to post a YouTube video saying she quits YouTube. And it isn't on her main channel, it's on her secondary channel. Which took me a while to go find the actual video because I had to really search. Her reasons for quitting are, and I quote, "I'm too mentally unstable for the life of a public figure."
Okay.
She needs to develop a sense of self because all she knows is the internet. And then, which backs up my point of her being obsessed with being a YouTuber, she's doing it because she's not getting enough views. So she's basically putting this out to say, not goodbye, but see you later. There's no definitive I'm leaving YouTube forever. It's, I'm just going to take a break and then come back later and probably make content again. I roll.
Point 3 is in conflict with points 1 and 2.
Exactly. It's a tell. Because she goes through all of this stuff, and then when she's done explaining it, she goes on a tangent about people calling her out for not getting views, and she gets really pissy about it, which tells you exactly how she feels. It's a tell.
I would argue, as many people have tried to say to all the people who have small view counts when they first start out, that if you don't have the thick skin to deal with it, then don't look at it. Don't even refer to it, don't even think about it. Because your points should not hinge on whether or not you are big enough a figure to have a point discussed. Now, unfortunately, I know the reason why Jalen feels like this, because all people who are of smaller size feel like this, and the problem is that usually their arguments get ignored, because almost all the people that choose to get involved in the type of drama that Jalen chooses to do and likes to be involved in, especially those on panels, very much operate on the clout shark mentality, which means they're all size queens. They only care about the size of their channels, they only care about the size of other channels that notice them, and they will only ever engage and interact when it gives them a direct benefit to grow their channel. They don't believe in community, they don't believe in outreach, they don't believe in collectiveness and cooperation towards a common goal. They don't believe in working with other people if there's not a direct reward to them. They behave like sociopaths that believe that they have more views than they should give to other people. Now, while I've had people accuse this of me in the past, because everybody accuses everybody of this, because it's the best way to try and see if you can trigger somebody to make them into a lolcow. You poke and prod at them, and you harass them, and you talk shit about them, and you stalk them through their content, and you basically tell your audience to constantly agitate them to see if you can get a reaction out of them. And then if they give you a reaction, monetize the reaction endlessly. I believe it was Xylee on more recent content actually talking about Grace, where Grace Thorpe was constantly complaining about how she didn't like that Xylee was pressing her the way that she did on that podcast meeting between herself, FPS Diesel, and somebody else whose name I'm forgetting at the moment. And the whole problem that she said, because she was looking at the debate from a third-person perspective, it had already happened. She was looking at the recording of it, playing back, and she was giving her opinion. When people do this kind of thing, what you should do is ignore it. Because if you get involved in the content, if you're just a random passerby, and maybe you're tangentially related to the content, you know somebody personally who's in the content, you should not directly put yourself at the content. And the reason why you don't is because once you enter into the zeitgeist as a person trying to give an opinion to a content creator who is milking a content situation, you are now the content.
You're now an accessory to it as well.
Yes. And sometimes it's a case of, because I experienced this dealing with formerly Elizabeth, currently known as Chicanery writer, beforehand involved, if anybody knows anything about known content farmer and theft and Vietnamese stealer, although I don't think he's Vietnamese, I believe he belongs to a different country, Ian Miles Strong. They are very well of Smug Rocco. When people get involved in shit like this, you do not help them in the situation they put themselves in, because when you're dealing with these kind of people, they operate on the viewpoint of feeding red meat audiences. Now, not all drummers, what a word. Well, not all drama YouTubers, and not all drama content creators behave in this way. However, in the world that Jalen comes from, in Twitch, they operate on retarded levels of hypocrisy. Most of them are political content creators because their entire viewpoint comes from the left sphere, because Twitch is a left progressive platform. It has drifted left over the years because the more people that have gotten platforms of their own, the more they push themselves into using politics as a replacement for their personalities. That's not to say that all of them are boring and they can't hold a microphone, but it is to say that if it weren't for many of them being Hassan or being an relevant, relevant chat room, waiting room, or whatnot, they wouldn't have platforms of their own to begin with. Many of them are clones of Vosh who are themselves either Destiny Orbiters or direct Destiny clones, and then BreadTube clones that exist inside that collective of White Nervosa / White Forest that forked the DGG website code to try and make business for themselves. Most of them are socialite bullies, and they only operate in that scene because they can't operate in YouTube, because none of them have the ability to stand toe-to-toe versus somebody who would actually mock them on the microphone and would actually entertain them while having whatever dumb autistic shouting match that has become the classic telltale sign of a Twitter debate board. Also, now coined in the dumbass phraseology invented by Hassan to avoid actually answering questions in his chat room, debate pedophiles. Jalen very much is a debate pedophile in that way. They put themselves in the drama, and they believe that by being in the drama and being a part of the platform that they have the right to stop people giving bad opinions of them, and that they do deserve to be criticized. Vosh has recently had some feedback about this concerning his use of the word orcs to refer to people who are of Russian foreign nation status, especially in politics. He got called up by his chat about it, and he tried to basically do a miniature Fortress arc where he tried to ban any person who disagreed with them, because how dare you not have media literacy? It's not the same, it's not the same. You don't get involved in these things in this way, because if you're not going to speak on the issues in a scholarly manner, you do not take stray shots, especially if the person in question is somebody who has the right to defend themselves. So let's say there's some drama that was to happen between the three of us here on this podcast, and there were some friends tangential to us that spoke about it. It would be dumb and also bad juju for any of the three of us to go to those friends in a hostile environment and try to argue situations without being calm, collective, and cultured. Because whatever we say is going to become part of the content. There are lots of people inside of Twitch that have fucking diarrhea of the mouth. They have no social graces, they can't take social cues, and they have no social speaking skills. That they don't understand that, no, you don't get to attack people just because they don't agree with you. And no, disagreeing with you does not mean that they believe that you are evil and that they're hateful and that they're a bigot. But unfortunately, Jalen comes from the particular side of the transgender community, hashtag #TransNarc, that believes that if you don't go lockstep with them on every single thing that they say and do, then it means you're a hateful bigot Nazi and you deserve to be deplatformed. And unfortunately, Jalen is a control freak. So if they don't get what they want in the moment, they will do anything possible that they believe is going to, quote, stop the event in its tracks. Which is why Jalen so commonly uses slurs whenever they're dealing with people. They believe in hateful utterances and verbalizing their toxicity because they don't know how to communicate effectively. And even if they did, they wouldn't want to. They are much more amongst the people like Actual Jake, who cuts microphones in debates and panels that they have control over. Which is why people like Jalen and Actual Corn and any other person like him are persona non grata on bigger platforms and stages. You're never going to see them on a place like EFAP. You're never going to see them even on places or in streams or in channels and podcasts or whatever, dealing with content creators like Keemstar or whatnot. Because even Keemstar is aware of people like her and him and them and the Spear. So they just simply don't ever meet. And they don't go there because they know that they would be in a hostile environment that they don't control. They hope that there are people who are unaware of who they are, which is why I always call them fucking content cockroaches. Because they scatter to the fucking winds whenever the light gets shined on them. Because they only build audiences when people are not aware of who they are. When you don't know who a particular content creator is and what their background is. Kind of like people probably who 2 weeks ago, were learning about Poppy and Xena. Or rather, it was probably more like 2 months. 2.5 months, the drama started up then, and then it was covered and then brought to light immediately by both Stardust and Leon Kersner. The whole nexus around that, and events and people like that, usually tend to be pretty much, I want attention, and if I don't get it the way I want, I'm going to leave the internet and make a harumph about it, and then when I return, I hope to come back to higher views and higher subs, because it's like the return of the king. It's a little bit like the ban cycle that exists on Twitch, when a popular streamer is banned for only 1 hour to 3 days. The way that the system works, the way that most of them are used to it working, is they do something controversial to get attention. They create drama about themselves. Whomever it is, whatever it is, if it's someone big, if it's someone small, try to create drama, make us think about it. Do something obviously bannable, get banned, raise us think about it, accuse the website of trying to silence the voice of women, silence the voice of trans members, silence the voice of trans allies, whatever they want to call themselves. Get leniency from the shadow cabal that is Trust and Safety. I say shadow cabal only because you're not allowed to know who they actually are. You can have a line to them through an agent, or if you have the interconnections to talk to them personally through somebody who has an agent to talk to them, but you don't get to know the names of them. They're not known figures like the CEO of a company. And they then come back to higher views and higher subs because, I got banned, but they can't keep a girl down. This is because the entire cycle of how to make money on Twitch is not like it is on YouTube. Unlike YouTube, Twitch has a payment system that is on Net 15, unlike the system that exists with YouTube, where we have to wait almost an entire month from the 1st to the 26th to earn money, and then whatever money is totaled out at the minimum amount of 100, it's paid out. In Twitch, it used to be different over the years, but the current system is Net 15 with a minimum amount of $50. Whatever money gets earned through that amount gets carried over to the next pay period, which will then be paid out concurrently, and the only way in which you lose money is to lose your subs. Losing subs is how you actually lose your platform, because the way that they work is, again, being size queens and size kings. They believe in the viewer numbers, which is what they call people who are Andes. So, for example, myself, I'd be what they would call a 0 viewer or single figure Andy. People like Jay Lynn, people like Shark03, people like Actual Corn, they are what we would call three-figure Andes. They have anywhere between 100 to X number of people up to 999 viewers until they become four-figure Andes, five-figure Andes, so on, so on, and so on. In order for them to keep their platform, they need to keep the money. But the way that you deplatform these kinds of people is that they either are uninteresting and can't pull subs to sub to the channel, which then they lose money over time, or they get banned for a period of time that is longer than 14 days, or rather 28 days, because the cancellation of payments is automatic when a streamer that is banned is not available for them to have their sub redone automatically, because a lot of people, they do subs automatically if they really like somebody in this kind of sphere. For Jalen to say that they're not making enough views is just the consequence of them being uninteresting. Technically, everybody learns that you have to do both. You need to do videos and streams, and people don't usually come through for them. I think the Destiny model is the one that people are more familiar with. He takes VODs from his live stream, he cuts those VODs down into sizable chunks that can then be used as videos. He then uploads and has the full VOD itself available inside of a side program, and then he streams on a regular daily basis. I have a similar-ish enough system. Most people do. Jalen, however, fails to do this because they decide that instead of having an archive VOD where all of their Twitch stuff can go to, which can then be pulled across onto YouTube, they instead decide to do it as a system of you can't see me, nah, 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 because they like to hide behind the subscriber wall. This happens on Twitch, this happens on YouTube, and it's the reason why they're so small, because nobody wants them where they go, because they behave the way they do. And
they're parasites.
yes, they are parasites. They don't know how to behave in a group. You can't take them anywhere. You try to give them advice to help them grow, or even just to help them be able to be likable enough that they can actually have a space on a panel. They can't do what they tell you to, and even if you give them a chance, they will somehow find a way to say the one slur that you beg them not to say, because, listen bro, I gotta be myself. I can't not be the drama. It is typical. It is something that we've actually prayed for would happen. COVID kind of washed out a bunch of the also-rans that didn't have the temerity and didn't have the willingness to continue forward with low earnings, low subs, or low numbers, or if they were up-and-comers that were praying for some breadtuber to give their channel a significant bump in a 12-month period by just injecting viewers into their content, into their streams, to their videos to grow their channel. They've been dying off because those lower people were the ones that were holding up a bunch of those bigger people, and with all those bigger people like Bosch revealing what they really think about people and how they really behave, those lower numbers and those lower content creators have been dying off. And Jalen is amongst one of the ones that don't know how to have his friend circle. So I'm not shocked by this news. They will come back again until they get permanently banned from the website. It is, in my opinion, for the amount of times that they have said slurs on air, that for their mouth alone, they should be banned. That's my personal opinion. But this person, it requires somebody who's able to put them in their grave. Like, they keep crawling out of the grave. They get in the grave as a summer vacation. Somebody needs to put a top on the grave and nail it down. Using their own words against them. Using their own arguments against them. That's my opinion.
You need to play their own hand against them, which absolutely makes sense.
Because, like, the saving grace is that the progressive opinion is just basically call everybody you don't like right-wing. So congratulations, everybody, you're right-wing. Just basically lay out that normal people can't be right-wing, because if everybody's right-wing, then you will never be able to
nobody
grow
is.
left. Yeah, and at that point, they don't have anything left. You take the weapon away from them early, and they can't debate, so just hold your own, smile and wave. It'll piss them off.
Yeah, pretty much.
Is there anything
Feel
else?
better, nobody.
Is there anything else that we feel like we need to catch up on?
In terms of specifically that section, I don't believe so. I think you hammered out everything we could have.
Okay. I believe this now brings us to the first of our main topics.
Indeed, senor.
IGN versus Black Myth Wukong. This is my job.
Si, senor. Run it.
Okay, boys and girls, gather around. Uncle Carl has a story to tell you. A Chinese company putting people in dirt. Is Julin the one? Is Jalen? I don't know why I said Julin. Disregard that, chat. Isn't Jalen the one? Isn't Jay Lin the one who had that drug roommate or something like that? A personality is one of these people they can't buy. I do not know that. I do not know that chinchilla in space. Possible. Once upon a time, there was a video game called Black Myth Wukong that was apparently announced for some years that was being worked on. And Chinese media refused to be extorted for $7 million by Sweet Baby Inc. This comes from the Chinese version of Twitter. So somebody was thankfully able to translate it for us. This coming from Pirate Nation for gaming news.
Hey, was this Weibo?
I believe it was. Some posts come from Weibo, but the translation comes from Chinese Twitter.
Oh no, yeah. Well, I was figuring which if it was a Twitter clone or if it was actual Chinese Twitter.
I believe both.
Oh, okay.
Chinese media. The English translation reads, the reason behind the team of Black Myth Wukong has been subjected to persistent sexist attacks and slander since their first promotional videos because they have consistently refused political correctness guidance and rejected the extortionate guidance fees of millions of dollars demanded by these political correct teams. Actually, such teams are quite common in Europe and America. They interview at works like Assassin's Creed, Dying Light 2, Stay Human, and God of War by pushing for politically correct female protagonists. These changes are the direct result of interference and guidance of such teams. Game science teams refuse to communicate with these groups and reject their interference. Most importantly, they refuse to pay the exorbitant $7 million in guidance fees. This is the direct reason why they are being attacked and slandered. Some justifications are based on the team's lack of diversity representation, which doesn't align with the code of collective standards. A typical example was an article by a major IGN writer criticizing hardware's legacy and refusing to evaluate or promote it due to its alleged lack of political correctness, which is 100% true, because this is exactly what they did to Hogwarts Legacy. The articles then continue with pieces coming directly from the founder of Black Myth. And from the copy of the website, this seems to be 4chan breaking it down. The founder of Black Myth, Wukong, Fengji, sounds incredibly based. In November, IGN wrote a hit piece article on him and other studio founders, but ended up making themselves look like the honey badgers of gaming. You don't need the reverse motivation of female players. You don't need to take care of those worms who just want to date chicks. Some things are just for men. Their recruiting posters included a woman of rears and joked about friends with benefits as an implied office perk, along with the phrase, don't screw your colleagues. This article from IGN, written by Rebecca Valentine and Ni-Hoon Chan, posted November 20th, 2023 at 6 a.m., how Black Myth Wukong's developer's history of sexism is complicating its journey to the West. And then, from this particular segment here, on this tweet that is transliterated, see if that's all on the screen. It is not all on the screen. I will try to widen this for you so that it's fully on the screen. Reading from the top. Regarding the issue that I make gaming content must cater to female players, I have always been extremely confused as I look at the way I position my product and say loudly into the mirror, my game is for girls. If this is not the case, then you have to think about what the majority of girls want. If you make such a product, expand this a little bit higher. There we go. Regarding this product, if you make such a product, like the way gaming is depicted in Black Mirror, where players need to earn spending points through extremely simple in-game behaviors such as riding bicycles or growing flowers and plants and using these points to purchase various European and American brands and new Japanese novelty products that are in season, you can hire a few part-timers for 300 won a month. You only need to collect product information and release patches for a new avatar every month. At the same time, you can make exceedingly cute companions as pets. These pets can even be the pretty boys from popular Western TV through accelerating artifacts. You can even earn more quickly. And with these large amounts of points, you can purchase golden tickets to participate in online reality shows, with girls gathering support by uploading photos or recording movie videos, with the top 100 people on that list earning the opportunity to be part of the upper class, where they can qualify for buying high-end, limited edition items and rare male companion pets, and thus rise through the ranks to join the judging panels of fashion groups and reality shows. As long as the product is functional at its basic level when it's online, Fujoshi's directly being called out. Fujoshi's being called out. And their circles can accumulate somewhat considerable developments, with small companies that are willing to spend 2 million won in advertising fees every month, in exchange for at least 3 times more net revenue. Then you wait for the gaming brands to sue you, and the money you have in your back pocket will be enough to hire a couple of desperate lawyers to help you drag out the lawsuit for 5 years, only to invest in a green card. Moreover, if the users reach a higher level, what you may receive is not a lawyer's letter, but an invitation to collaborate. The G-spots of male and female games are fundamentally different. This is not determined by gaming environments, but by biological conditions. When you were holding a heavy machine gun and shooting at governments in your dreams, what the ladies were dreaming about was bags that would make their friends jealous. If you design games about turning government buildings into bloodbaths and bag collecting, the result will be that the girls will not like this mechanic, and you won't be satisfied with the drops. The richer the gaming experience of players, the clearer that they are about what they really want. If you want to make games that will be well received by the public, you need to be true to the quirks of the market. Fuck sissies, fuck tragic love stories, fuck moonlit peach blossoms and flute-playing scholars. You don't need the reverse motivation of female players. You don't need to take care of those worms who just want to date chicks. Some things are just for men, their depression, their anger, their pain, ellipses. If I really like soft and effeminate things, I just need to make something different and wear stockings and suspenders to work every day. Work out at the gym at 4 p.m. without fail. Brew chrysanthemum tea every day. Put a humidifier on the table. This is what I call professionalism, ellipses. Then there is a post that comes from his Weeboo post, which garnered significant backlash. Soon after the pre-alpha video of Black Myth Wukong was released in August 2020, damn, that is actually long, Feng penned his thoughts about the video going viral on Weibo. This post was logical about his self-criticism over the video's lackluster production quality, with Feng Ji stating the 13-minute B1 looks like it was carelessly pieced together, and the frame rates of 100,000 heavenly soldiers have dropped so hard that they cause us PTSD. But this was accompanied by several innuendo latent lines. In the first, Feng wrote, "I want to expand my circle and hire more people, get licked until I can't get an erection." Several lines down, he also added, "I know, you just happen to be a little depressed. It is my honor to provide you with some comfort in the lower half of your body." He later doubled down with a separate comment saying, "I got wet after watching it a couple times. The pressure in my crotch is immense." Specifically, it says, "I want to expand my circle and hire more people, get licked until I can't get an erection. I want to be honest and make a trailer and be praised as a savior as the industry. The 13-minute B1 looks like it was carelessly pieced together. Random values, stiff landings. Smaller bodies move lithely, larger bodies are more lethargic. An unmolted golden cicada, an undynamic body of water. Rough decisions were made. The sound was terribly disjointed. The frame rates of 100,000 heavenly soldiers have dropped so hard they cause PTSD. The fuzz on the monkey is certainly not that awesome. I know, you just happen to be a little bit depressed. It is my honor to provide you with some comfort for the lower half of your body. Thank your friends for your exaggerated compliments. Thank you even more for your incisive kindnesses and sincere concerns. The team exploded with happiness, but not to the extent that we got carried away. Please forget about the performance that we put on this time. From now on, we will return into hiding and continue. Little by little, we grow and work slowly but steadily." I gotta tell you, bro, I think he's being tongue-in-cheek and is saying that he's being eccentric while saying, "Bro, thank you for liking my game. I don't think this is the hit piece you want to write, bro." A year later in 2015...
They are not serious, bro.
A year later, in 2015, Game Science also published several recruitment posters that featured suggestive images which IGN has seen and verified. In one poster, a risque illustration that resembles the artist's work of Austrian artist Egon Schiele is accompanied by a header that says "mandatory self-pleasure." In another poster that features the rear of a woman's view, the ad reads, "Don't screw your colleagues." In the same ad, friends with benefits were also implied as an office perk. And in the third poster, featuring a dumbbell, is far more pointed, with the ad stating that fatties should fuck off. Based.
What a banger.
Based. The stories, of course, continue. Once again reported by Grums. The author of Black Myth Wukong's hit piece, sexism hit piece, is Duck Valentine. The account name of course, Rebecca Valentine, who is blocking me, while also privating me. But I've never tweeted at her. Telling her yourself. Rebecca Valentine is besties with Alyssa McConaughey and even appeared in her Fight Me Bro cringe video. I believe that's the one yes, that's the woman. That's the woman on the far end of the couch wearing the hot neon pants. Wukong claims articles like this were used by consulting companies to shake down the studio for $7 million in guidance fees. She also celebrated the infamous Re of the GDC scream and is well known for her multiple hit pieces targeting devs and studios for hate speech, sexism, and all the ism buzzwords. Situation with Black Myth Wukong. Come on, video. Come on. Load the page. Load the page, thank you. The situation with Blackmail Wukong is disgusting. They cite IGN and consulting companies such as SBI as a part of a shakedown. Reading. As part of a shakedown racket of $7 million in fees. Here's how it all works, as SBI founder Krim Guerra explains. We've all seen this video. I covered this video myself. It is the quote that comes from the last few sections of her keynote speech in 2019 at Representation as Joy for GDC 2019. If they don't see the value of what you're asking for, when you ask for your consultants, just go to your marketing departments and terrify them with the possibility of what's going to happen if they don't give you what you want. Here's the whole web of people who support each other and make this shakedown happen. Sweet Baby Inc. says, hire us or else. Reporters say, support the racket by writing the hit piece articles and run defense for the consulting companies and play down the racket as a conspiracy theory. Alyssa McConaughey writes hit pieces about Cruz Rambo and about others who speak on the industry and speak about the things being done in the history as a part of the long list of these companies' ruined games that have caused companies and businesses to be closed. Rebecca Valentine then defends Alyssa and writes hit piece articles about those who are talking about her, which leads to the shakedown. Jason Schreier, known and hated journalist amongst the bunch, who has already ran away to Bloomberg Media because he already got his golden parachute to get out of the rat race that is games journalism through these websites, gaslights you when it's exposed, saying that it's hallucination, that it isn't happening, and then writes a book about how it happened and he didn't have enough resources to confirm that it was true until he could cash in with his $30 book himself. All of them bestsellers, of course. It sure seems like it's all a part of a multi-million-dollar racket. In fact, didn't earn it, and didn't earn it consulting is a huge industry. See my post about Activision Blizzard report. They call us grifters, but they are the ones that are making the bank. Wukong directly cites the IGN hit piece that was written by Rebecca Valentine, as well as other companies similar to Sweet Baby Inc., as being behind the $7 million extortion attempt. The ironic thing here is that this company is, I believe, ran by a Chinese developer, which means they are able to avoid this shit happening in their games, but we fucking can't. That's a goddamn tragedy. That's a fucking nightmare, bro. What a fucking nightmare, bro. He continues. It has been revealed that IGN has been hammering on the slander about game science studios for months. Every single article that they write about Blackmail Wukong, they bring up the hit piece article that they wrote, thus causing the process of journalism cytogenesis. Every single one, it is not journalism, it is a hit job. We then see that there are articles that come from, actually it doesn't show the website in question here, but Matthew Wukong has a release date. They quote the sexism line. I believe this is IGN, this is IGN's website. Black Myth Wukong is a release date, but still no reply to the reports of sexism from Game Awards 2023, published by Rebecca Valentine, December 8, 2023. This one does not have an author. This one is Wesley Yin Poole. I don't know who this is from, but it believes that this is probably the same website. So that one was 2023. This is June 8th, 2024. New Black Myth Wukong trailer ditches Xbox and Series X and S versions. They reference it inside the report. And then another one written on June 8th by Rebecca Valentine. Physical editions will not come with a disc, and they write about and talk about the extensive report examining sexist remarks and attitudes made by the founders. So they use reporter cytogenesis from their own reporting to justify harassing the people into trying to get them to give them a response. Bold strategy, Cotton. We'll see how that works out for you. Real quick, change the filter. There we go. After that mishandled translation debacle on Black Myth Wukong's hit piece, IGN needed to reissue a contraction and an apology with the authors who smeared them. The authors, Duck Valentine and Craptascular, which is Rebecca Valentine and Keen Hoon, who also has gone protected.
Of course.
Should have come off protected and become the duty to be apologize. They've added words and completely mistranslated. Putting this back on screen. I should have just not changed the filter. I should have kept it on crop 3. The snake spirit is different from what I imagined, but if I cover the bottom half with my hand, it's still possible to jerk off. It's not what I expected, but not impossible to cover the bottom half of the body with your hand. It's not impossible. We all are quoting the English translation for a bunch of gamers who care about accurate translations of foreign source games and thinking we can do better. If a world leader fluent in Mandarin could give a speech in Chinese and inadvertently say he wanted China and Austria to have mutual orgasms, I think we should give the benefit of the doubt here to the translation. This first one is from Reset Era. These other ones are directly from Reddit. I think this report is a joke. Loads of mistranslations on purpose. Like, how could you have mistranslated "you'll be used to it" to "you can jerk off with it"? It's clearly an intentional mistranslation to fit the sexism narrative. And if you've checked who they interviewed, Mr. Ki Hoon Chan has his own political agenda. The whole article is taken out of context. These journalists have never been to China, don't know the Chinese language, and use machine translations, and didn't even try to understand Chinese internet slang. Directly from the same Weibo post that was made by the founder, the idiom that was used there in, I can't even begin to transcribe that, so I'm not even going to try, but I can read it. Want to expand the circle and review it a few more people got licked to the point of being unable to get an erection. The phrase is a used idiom in the Chinese language as a colloquial expression used humorously or sarcastically to describe a situation in which excessive flattery or sycophancy has an overwhelming and paralyzing effect on someone. The use of such metaphors can be found in an informal speech or on social media. So basically, we had the correct read on it, both myself and Baku. This was him joking.
Yeah, this is absolutely just a fucking joke.
The story continues. Thanks to community notes, IGN's slanderous article on James Science Studios has finally been noted. The lies will not stand unchallenged. Join community notes today. It works. Link in reply. Indie soul like Blackmail has seen widespread acclaim since its reveal, but the studio behind it, Game Science, has long been plagued with accusations of sexism that reflect wider issues in the Chinese games industry. Our report. The sexism quotes shown in the article are poorly translated. Accurate translations show the statements being vulgar, but definitely not sexist. IGN reporting on these fallacious, unverified claims as though they are fact is yellow journalism, which CNs were made to combat. IGN just can't let it go. Publishes preview on Wukong and adds yet another defamatory statement to the end, this time claiming victim status. You're a professional reporter, Rebecca, which makes your work subject to critique as far as repeated claim sources for mistranslated texts. True journalists should welcome the challenging of their stories in the pursuit of truth, rather than crying victim and demanding the company you slandered defend you or address the spurious claims for which you have been community noted on X for being misleading. But you're not a true journalist. You're a part of the mob seen on video that is cheering on physical violence. Fight me. Physically, when your narratives are challenged. You and your journalism crowd willingly put yourselves forward as enemies of the truth, as combatants and not journalists. You committed the cardinal sin of journalism. You made yourself the story. Added the translated text. Address the mistranslated text. Defend your work instead of running, hiding, protecting, while you are claiming that some sort of innocent non-party after repeatedly instigating these slanderous claims through your very vast platform of IGN, even as you do now. IGN, Black Myth Wukong, hands-on with a impressive first 2 hours, bringing up a bit of speed to the Souls-like genre by Mitchell Saltzman, June 16th, 2024. The list of impressive-looking Souls-like games on the horizon is long, with games like Phantom Zero, Flintlock, Siege of Dawn, and Wuchong, Fallen Feathers, all having solid showings this event season, but there's always something extra special about Black Myth Wukong. It's stunningly glorious. Next frame. And then from our report from last year, we published an extensive report on IGN detailing a number of sexist and inappropriate remarks made by multiple developers of Black Myth Wukong, including those in leadership at Game Science. As the publication of this preview, Game Science has yet to provide any response or statement addressing our report or their past remarks. Like Mitchell, I had the opportunity to see Black Myth Wukong at Summer Games Fest, though my appointment was admittedly a little strange. I was told that as a part of my invitation that Game Science would have a statement related to the reports of sexism. I arrived to the appointment and saw the game as planned, but when I asked for the promised statement, I was told by a PR representative, Game Science is focused on the demo during playdays and will only ask them questions related to gameplay. Mitchell's preview doesn't need my validation, but for what it's worth, I fully back everything he's written here. Black Myth Wukong looks like it'll be a great game. It's gorgeous with snappy combat, fantastic monster design, and some really interesting boss fights. It is also true that several of the people making it have made disparaging remarks about women and don't seem interested either in retracting their past statements or in supporting the numerous women who are being harassed in online conversations about Black Myth Wukong purely for expressing their discomfort with those statements. Both these ideas can exist simultaneously. What audiences want to do about this conflict is ultimately their choice. One last note, I didn't see any women or femme-coded characters, gag, in the demo, and I was able to confirm from game science that there were none present in the section of the game presented to the press. There will be women in the final game, but for now it is impossible to really comment on whether or not game science developers express beliefs permeate Black Myth Wukong in a meaningful way. So, a couple things I noticed from this report, Rebecca. What does that mean when you say permeate in a meaningful way? And what do you mean by supporting the numerous women who are being harassed in online conversations about Black Myth Wukong purely for expressing their discomfort with those statements? Your statements are based on lies. Your statements are based on lies, girl.
Yeah,
So,
these just don't make sense.
So let's plug that statement into the sentence and see if that makes sense. There are people who are uncomfortable with the harassment, we're going to talk about that one in a second, that they've received for stating their opinions about the spurious lies you stole about the studio. And of course, what do you call harassment? Because remember, chat, say it with me, criticism isn't harassment or incitement. People can call you a cunt. They're allowed to. Granted, depending on whether or not you press them on it, maybe they can't. But I think they're allowed to call you a liar, at the very least. I think if they're allowed to challenge you and say, you're a wheezy little liar, dude, that's acceptable. If Hassan can do it, we can do it. So, let's plug that into the sentence. Women who are being questioned and mocked for believing spurious lies about a developer from the mouth of yellow journalism. That doesn't make sense, Rebecca. That doesn't make sense. Cope. But more importantly, I need to see a female video game character to know whether or not I can fully suggest that Black Myth Wukong is an acceptable game to play? Huh? Excuse me? If there's a playable female character, there's a playable female character. If there's an NPC character who's also female, then there's an NPC character who's also female. Do you need to see women in every single piece of the gameplay trailers that you're given in order to figure out if the game is good or not? This is kind of the same shit as demanding that you have to be a part of SBI Detected, and you have to be a part of DEI Detected, and you must blaze the nuts and suck the cum directly from the balls of Brutus Rambo in order to truly know whether or not you can buy a video game. I gotta tell you, bro, that shit that he does and the shit that you guys are suggesting here are the exact same shit in the exact same circle in the exact same Venn diagram. I don't need to see these things or hear these things from anyone in order to make an opinion of my own about the game that I will play. That's not how any of this works, and you guys know it. But this is what happens when you do yellow journalism. You lie, and you keep lying, and you don't stop lying, and you hope that by saying the lie enough times that it becomes true. But the story, again, continues. IGN releases a statement via original Black Myth Wukong hit piece author Rebecca Valentine. This, of course, is the article piece that we just read. Fails to address the mistranslated text. Demands developer address her false claims against them. Demands the developer she attacked defend her personally for making those false claims. Whines that there are no femme-coded characters in the game. It is very much what Grums is saying here. Defend me as I attack you. Why won't you address the fake claims that you know are false? Also, why won't you protect me as people harass me for harassing you? This is not how it's supposed to work, sir. And then, of course, even though this has happened to the game. From That Park Place, written by John F. Trent, June 19th, 2024. Black Myth Wukong goes to the top of the Steam wishlist charts despite IGN's accusing developer of sexism and misogyny. Which pretty much tells you exactly the fallout of what you'd expect to happen from this, but we will read it, don't you worry, chat. Developer Game Science, upcoming game Black Myth Wukong, has jumped to the top of the Steam wishlist charts despite video game news outlet IGN accusing the developer of sexism and misogyny. According to Steam database, Black Myth Wukong has been wishlisted a little under 500,000, that's a 500,000 times, and is the most wishlisted game at the time of reporting, ahead of Hollow Knight Silksong, Frostpunk 2, Stalker 2, Heart of Chernobyl, and The First Descendant. The games hit the top of the Steam charts, despite IGN accusing the game developer Game Science and its employees of sexism and misogyny. In November 2023, IGN's Rebecca Valentine and Ni Hun Chan. That really sounds like that is somebody trying to make a shitpost. Accused.
Yeah, you'd think, but no, it's real.
But accused the developer of sexism. The duo reported several posts have surfaced from Chinese social media site Weibo, so yes, a part of it did come from Weibo. Written from the individuals from the studio that contain multiple references to genitalia and sexual innuendos. They also stated this is coupled by recruitment posters at the studio produced in 2015, which featured images and headlines that point to a culture of ingrained sexism in game science. The article proves no evidence of these headlines or posters, but it does give descriptions, and one poster is claiming the things which we were told about before. The report also claims a co-founder of Game Science, Feng Ji, said in a post to Chinese social media website Weibo, I want to expand my circle, blah 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 blah, all the things we have already read. IGN apologizes Blade is here as well, which tells you just generalize exactly what the fuck happens when they do this kind of thing. The report also took some issue with the developer's co-founder and lead artist Yang Qi, declaring the men and women are biologically different. The report alleged that he wrote, men were holding a heavy machine gun and shooting at governments in your dreams, while the ladies were dreaming about bags that would make their friends jealous. This, of course, being the same thing we read. Then, we get to something that we actually have not covered. Finally, it accused technical artist Dawei. Do you know Dawei?
God damn it.
Of claiming that players cannot... Excuse me. Do you know Dawei? I can't find your fucking face! I tried to upload all my goals! And I'm canceled. Claiming the players that can masturbate to a female character in the game by looking at her more. It alleges he wrote, although I'm not used to the snake neck, I can still nurture that fetish. Mr. Dai, you need to adjust your face. The uncanny valley effect is too distracting. Look at it more, you can jerk off to it. Although I'm not used to the snake neck yet, this can still be nurtured. Okay, Blackmail Wukong, this changed my fetish. If I believe this is what I think this is in reference to, this is in reference to the snake woman. Here. This particular character here on screen chat, because I think I put the window down. This character right here on the side, this is the snake woman that it's referring to. Wild, bro. Wild. Debaucherous. However, these translations have been called into question. A clip from Asmongold Clips notes that Feng Ji's comment is a used idiom in the Chinese language, as a colloquial expression used humorously and sarcastically to describe a situation with excessive flattery, blah 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 blah. Let's watch.
How Black Myth Wukong developers' history of sexism is complicating its journey to the West. What? But beneath the luster of this Souls-like studio is a studio plagued by claims of sexism. Several posts have surfaced on Chinese media site written by individuals from the studio that contain multiple references to genitalia and innuendo. This has provoked backlash about some people in the games community, many of whom are women. This is the most retarded article I've ever read in my life.
Context. IGN published an article trying to smear the company and the devs behind Black Myth Wukong as some sexist freaks because of some of their employees' social media posts. The article cites one of their artists who basically did the still wood meme about this monster. The problem is that this game journalist, either by sheer incompetence or malice, translated these posts in the most uncharitable way possible. And this is nothing compared to the most egregious mistranslation after one of the game company founders posted this in 2020, apologizing for the lackluster trailer of Black Myth Wukong just released. Now, how on earth do you get?
I want to expand my circle and hire more people. Get licked until I can't get an erection.
In reality, the actual translation completely changes the meaning of what he was saying. Not satisfied, I went back checking if anyone called this out when it happened, and they did.
I can't believe that there's a person like this that has access. IGN needs to have this person writing guides on the banana game. Maybe they could handle that. Please take the keyboard away from this person. That featured images and headlines that point to a culture ingrained in sexism in game science. Recruitment posters by the studio. Do we have a link to the recruitment posters? We do not. This is unbelievable. In the eyes, oh, here we go. IGN spoke to several women familiar with gaming culture, as well as the games and technology industry in China, many of whom requested to be anonymous for fear of backlash from fans of game science. In the eyes of many female gamers, has a notably negative reputation. Citation fucking needed. You can see how this person is trying desperately to avoid a defamation lawsuit, plagued by claims of sexism. Some in the games community, many of whom are women, in the eyes of many female gamers. So every single statement that's made is made with a qualifier that basically avoids legal liability. Well, guys, I was already gonna buy the game, but I think now I might have to buy it twice. Holy shit.
Based. He doesn't have great takes all the time, but when Husband Gold does, he has great takes, even though there are takes that any person with a normal functioning brain would come to. Nevertheless, IGN doubled down on the accusations as part of the Black Myth Wukong first impression article, Valentine writing a section addressing the outlet's report from November. This we have already read. It appears that the audiences are not buying Valentine's story and narrative, as the game currently sits at the most wishlist game on Steam with almost 500,000 followers. Black Myth Wukong is available to purchase on August 19th, 2024. All that being said and shown, chat, what is my takeaway from this story when I did my research on it? IGN article, which means by extension the clique of all the people who are here, which by that I mean all the people who were sitting on that couch with her. Yeah. All those people sitting on that couch, as well as all those that are officiated and signed to that company, are supporting this toxic user, this female, and all the people around her, and Alyssa McContie, to try and get themselves out of a shitstorm that is caused by them saying words that they can't confirm and making arguments that they can't prove. Because they really want to get the bag right now, harassing this Chinese company, believing that they can use the didn't earn it strategy to harass them into silence, and then buy their way into making them conform to their standards. Which is weird, because why are you telling a Chinese company how to design things by Chinese mythos? Huh? I was told that's bigotry, misogyny, and sexism. But apparently it's only bigotry, misogyny, and sexism when you don't get paid. Interesting. As for the story itself, IGN article, written by IGN writer, who looks like that, sitting on a couch, telling you why you should shut the fuck up and fight Alyssa McContie physically, but you won't do it because you're a pussy, who, outside of usually harassing people, even if you do not directly react and respond to them, blocks and privates herself, as well as her co-conspirator, hiding themselves, while being watermelon supporters nonetheless. Journalist believes they have the right to harass the world while hiding behind the Steve Stives method. Steve Stives. Yeah. It's been so long since we've said his name. But the Steve Shives method. Block the world, block the people who are criticizing you, block the reporters that you claim are amongst the bad grifters, prevent and present no evidence that proves your point, claim that they're harassing and attacking you, and say, I'm being harassed, I'm being harassed, I'm being harassed, I'm being harassed. How dare these people criticize me? I'm being harassed, I'm being harassed, I'm being harassed. You need to defend me. This is your fault. I'm being harassed because I lied about you. So you need to protect me. Now give me money and protect me. I think this woman needs to get on a treadmill. She needs to get a treadmill. She needs to get a Peloton for her office. You know, standing desk. Get a Peloton, shove it in on your desk, work on the Peloton, and write an apology to every single person who had to read your garbage articles. I don't know what provoked you into wanting to pick a fight with these people and act in the capacity of a gaming journalist, but you should learn your lesson and stop doing that. Because this is the hypocrisy that we talk about. This is the shit that we talk about. This is the issue that we talk about. This is that new Alyssa McContie / new Anita Sarkeesian grift that you guys are desperate to be on. You are proclaiming harassment where there is none. And you can't even show me the harassment because you're blocking people who have never interacted with you.
It's diluting just the whole pond of potential actual issues going on in the sphere.
Yes. And then the game itself has nothing wrong with it. I'm hearing more about things that have nothing to do with the game, and no accusations have materialized from the ether. They're widely hated, but ain't nobody stepping up to reveal themselves. No one in America who's not beholden to the Chinese rule system, and nobody in China. Swear, bro. It's almost like this is a nothing burger story created by people who wanted to obsessively control the industry again. As for the game, I think the game will look fun. I'll probably buy it and play it when it releases. However, I think the ultimate problem with this story is, yet again, another case example of IGN using journalism cytogenesis to cite themselves to harass a company into silent agreement. And, more importantly, a $7 million price tag. I don't think it was directly Kim Belair. I think it was a person of the company, maybe more on the line of Chris Gringold. This seems like something of his timeline. He likes to talk a lot of shit about other cultures while doing absolutely nothing while being a Juneteenth American. But oh my god. But, you know, being a basketball American, as he is, less heinous. This is exasperating. It's exactly what I thought the story would be before I started doing my research on it, after Horror's research. But I'm further annoyed. Back in the day, the journalists used to be able to lie at the same time. They would take the thing that they were accused of, they would say, I didn't do that, would block you, and then a week later would be using and quoting exactly the word that you described to prove that they were lying to your face, to continue lying to other people's faces. They used to be a lot more clever with this. Ever since they lost the power on Twitter, they have had nothing to do but the same tired tricks, and they are not working out for them. That's embarrassing. And Rebecca should definitely be embarrassed, because considering Alyssa's build, you're significantly, let's be nice, heavier set than she is. Those high-rise jeans, girl. Them high-rise jeans, girl. I see a lot of fupa. I see a lot of fupa, but I'm not seeing the PA that justifies the FU. So I think you need to say FU to whatever diet plan you're working on, and you need to get your pH in balance. Cause girl, you got bigger issues than sexism in China, okay? That's my opinion. However, as a company, IGN, you need to start taking accountability for your writers. If you can't get them to issue an apology, fire them. Fire them. Sure, you don't have control over Alyssa. She's not a part of your writing staff at IGN as a part of Giant Bomb. But she and her coworker are. Fire. Fire. Fire them. Because if this is what you're willing to do at Giant Bomb, whoever owns Giant Bomb, they need to go out of business. Yesterday. Out of business yesterday. Because it's not acceptable. It's not acceptable. It's nowhere near acceptable. And the fact that that's normal and that they think that's cool is a fucking blight. Yeah, she took it out of my goddamn mouth. It is a blight. Every single person who sat on that couch and co-signed Alyssa's bully behavior is a blight. And Rebecca's behavior here to bully a company because she wants to get and secure a bag for herself and is trying to pre-block everybody who's going to cover their behavior, it is a blight. It needs to stop. And if they can't stop it the normal way and become journalists that actually like talking about video games, playing video games, and talking to people who like playing video games, then it's time for you to find a new career. Again, you guys can start doing what I do. It's easy to do. Just get a art edit program, create a Twitch account, and start streaming games. And it's too hard for you guys. So, if you guys won't stop doing this, fire them. That's my take. Have you returned, Horror?
I have.
Hooray.
Speaking of Alyssa Mercante, she's in another thing that we have to talk about today.
Oh boy, round 2, baby.
And that would be Kotaku and SBI trying to ruin the life of Smash JT purely because he created a website exposing the bullshit that they're getting into in the gaming industry. Let's start from the beginning. In early May, he starts to make videos about scummy Kotaku employees. And when he does this, it starts with Alyssa Mercante DMing his fucking wife. And this is directly after a video he put up with the hashtag #EndKotaku. She says directly, "Hi, I'm reaching out because I just want you to be aware of the fact that your husband and father of your children is sending heaps of harassment towards women, myself included, and other folks on social media over video games. He's writing articles about me, making videos about me, and even made a petition about me. Today, he shared a post from a man who has been threatening to execute me in virtual reality for weeks. A man who has photoshopped himself pointing guns at me and blood on my face. When I pointed this out to your husband, he deleted his post. He then commented jokingly on a post I made about him platforming a violent man by sharing the petition he's made to end the website I work for. I can't speak to the nature of your relationship or what kind of father he is, but I certainly wouldn't want my partner harassing women online over video games and platforming the people that are threatening to kill them. It seems like something he shouldn't be so invested in at his age. Have a good one. Fuck you." So, in late May, he creates a website or a page on his own website that's called Kotaku Detected. And it basically shows publicly accessible information of confirmed Kotaku employees and only the employees that have gotten into some bullshit to cause irreparable damage to the gaming industry. After this, there's a post by, what is he? The creator of Second Wind, some fucking company, posts this tweet on the 26th of May, and it says, "These guys will never stop doing this unless you go after their funding sources. If you follow me and see what's happening here, I'm asking you to help me to stop this before someone gets hurt. Not make jokes about, not dunk on them. It needs to be reported." So, wanting his fans to mass flag JT. That's
Which
great.
is absurd.
That's great. It gets worse. Alyssa Mercante, around the same time, decides it's going to be a funny thing to dox his full legal name on Twitter. I wonder why that is. Next, we have a Twitter user by the name of Airbagged that decides, I'm gonna go and search a former employer's Facebook page and share that on Twitter. That's not a call to life ruination now, is that, ladies and gentlemen? Oh, no, it's totally fine. Totally sane. And then after this, the mass reports temporarily gets Kotaku Detected taken down. And then, Alyssa Mercante on the 27th of May starts to threaten a lawsuit against Smash JT. Here's the thread that shows that. Oop, website not detected. Huge shout out to Nick J. Cow, who reached out to Wix about this site and consistently followed up. Clearly they agree that he was engaging in targeted harassment among other things. This is a great precedent, a great sign that there are people and places on the internet who know targeted harassment and cyberbullying when they see it. I'm still pursuing legal action, so if you've got a good New York City-based lawyer, DM me. She followed it up with saying, spoken to a few already, but if you guys know any good New York City-based defamation cyber-stalking lawyers, DM me. But guess what?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
By the way, I have the thing that they tried to take down on the screen. It is literally just public statements and the tweets that they made of those public statements. In other words, journalism.
Yep, it's literally publicly accessible shit. But even better, they go because Kotaku Detected was reinstated. And they hated that. So, Alyssa Mercante on the 29th of May decides, I'm gonna push this lawsuit even harder. She says, update. I have had some incredibly promising conversations with a few law firms and I feel super confident in my next steps. However, this shit will get expensive, especially if I decide to go down certain paths. Should I crowdfund? Does anybody know any unmarried octogenarian millionaires? And when she gets pushed back, she doubles down. If you can't see that these thought provokers and Gamergate reactionaries are truly the dumbest.
Oh, what a great buzzword.
Are the dumbest, most unoriginal people alive, then I pity you nearly as much as them. The same recycled jokes, the stunted, pseudo-intellectual rants. It's because they are in their 40s and 50s and their brains are dying. If they read more books and took more trips and met more people that rather than refreshing Twitter so they can struggle to read tweets out loud in their latest video, they wouldn't have aged their brains so much. Like, is this funny or clever to you? It's giving Peepaw when he has a lucid moment in the care home.
I'm gonna be 30 this year.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna be 30 this year, by the way.
Yeah, no, she's just projecting. She's projecting.
How old is she again?
I think she's like in her late 20s, maybe.
She don't look like it.
No, she looks ragged. Anyways,
this picture looks bad. I'm sorry.
She gets worse. Like, is this funny or clever to you? It's giving people. Yeah, she just shows like a quote of like, it's not Gamergate 2. It's World War 2, and the word wizards, deceptive journos are being annihilated on their own battlefield, which is true. She then goes on to say, this is the same man who fell for a scam to the tune of $10,000, and she's going after Smash JT. Thought Bylines was a publication. Thought XOXO Gossip Gita's the name was Tina Snow Aegyo. He's an idiot. Not to mention he's a rage peddler who has only gained relevance by promoting anger and hate. And he can barely do that successfully. He gotta use my face and name to get his most views. Which was wrong because he showed in these videos that he put out to, show this all to everybody. That's not the case. A lot of his other videos that had absolutely nothing to do with Alyssa Marconte or SBI or Kotaku did just as well, if not better, than those videos. So, bite me. This goes even further with Life Ruination when SBI's Chris Kindred gets involved. And guess what he does, guys? He decides, because he's listed on Kotaku Detected, he's going to take this to real life. And what he does is he finds that leaked Facebook posts and decides he's going to call that business, thinking that he still works there, and says that he's harassing people of color that are disenfranchised. When most of the people on Kotaku Detected were white.
White, trans, female.
Yeah. He even made the mistake of leaving his contact info, i.e. his full name and the phone number that is associated with him on his company website, so we know that it's you. And JT finds out about this because his former coworkers decide to tell him, hey, this dumb fuck is deciding he wants to try and accuse you of these things. We don't know that's true. We don't think that's true. So you played yourself, Chris. You played yourself.
Again, you make all of us basketball American look bad.
Lol.
Hey, you should have heard my favorite look when I said Juneteenth American. The words that come out of my mouth. By the way, we found out we were no longer slaves 2 years later day, guys. Anywho.
So we have one more, the main course. And I'm trying to figure out what Deck Devil wants to do because I took some more notes on this, detailed notes, and I want to see if he wants to go over his part of it or he wants to use my notes.
Okay, my notes are like, you basically covered a lot of the stuff that I was going to do, but I really like your way of doing it, so I was just like, I'll just keep letting you vibe and just pitch in from the side if need be, and I barely did.
Alrighty. So
you absolutely killed it.
And I did it in the matter of like an hour. Well, So everybody, while all this was going on, I was researching this and going through, I don't know, like 90 pages of Google documents. That's why you've been hearing clicking on and off this whole time. Yeah, your girl's been busy. Anyways, this is with regards to I Am Alex. If you don't know who I Am Alex is, he is the scourge of YouTube. He is the dregs of all that is commentary YouTube. He is the scum under our boot. He's a terrible human being, and we knew it from several years ago. He is most known for 2 huge accusations that he's made towards 2 other YouTubers, and basically trying to ruin their lives. That being Zaptai, now Big B, and Slazo, who used to be his roommate and best friend, quote unquote. So, I'll explain this a little bit more. He accused Slazo of being an abusive ex and a sex pest. And when he did this, a whole bunch of people that are associated with him decided to come out and help. This accusation was jettisoned off of an ex-girlfriend of Slazo's named Fizzy Pop or Che. This has been verified to be false as fuck, and they got BTFO'd because of it. But there were multiple people that were around their friend circle that decided they were gonna believe the victim, quote unquote, and go after Slazo and ruin his life. That being King Annie, put a pin in that, she'll come back later, Bluesdank, Quite, Squizzy, and Weast. All of which, besides, King Annie, have apologized for, doing this horrible thing to him. And besides King Annie and Alex, neither of them have apologized for.
I was gonna say, do you expect them to apologize? Because no, Chad, they did not.
No.
That was never happening, baby.
No, the closest they got to an apology was, well, these accusations may not have been completely 100%, but he's still a shit human being and still deserves it. As far as Zaptai, he with the Hot Wet Soup Cast, that's an old podcast, decided to accuse Zaptai of being a sociopathic PDF file, when it has been shown that Zaptai didn't know that the person that he was talking to, particular girl, was a minor. She had, if I remember correctly, and it's been a while since I've looked at the Dioria videos, she portrayed to him that she was of age. And then later, after they'd been talking for a while, backed that shit up and said, oh no, I'm a minor. So basically entrapped him.
Fucking fantastic, these people.
Mm-hmm. As far as the sociopath thing, this is jettisoned from him Zaptai realizing that he did have mental health issues, and whilst attempting to fix them, it was utilized against him. It was weaponized against him. Can you see how just great these kind of people are?
See what kinds of people you deal with.
Amazing people. Other than that, he's known for his coverage of the Jeffree Star / James Charles dramas. We're not going to get into that. If you don't know what that is, look it the fuck up.
And if you do know, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, well, yeah. But why are we talking about I Am Alex right now? Well, because 3 planes have hit the Twin Towers and the Pentagon, guys. That's why. 3 accusations from 3 different fucking girlfriends have come out in the span of the last couple of weeks.
With audio.
With receipts. At least in the case of, like, one of them. The other 2 are at best. And I'll tell you why. Before I get into the initial allegation here, if the rumors are true that this particular girlfriend was just as abusive to Alex in return, that's still fucked up. However, it does not excuse the already verifiable taped actions of Alex.
Retaliation is not an acceptable answer in either regard here. So let's just
No.
put that out there.
But it does not, again, it does not excuse his actions. She's just as fucked up for whatever she does.
Correct.
Putting that out there. Now that we've got that out of the way, let's get into the actual nitty-gritty of what happened and what I was doing for the last hour. On the 15th of June, ex-girlfriend Alice Hez, I think this is the most recent girlfriend too, if I'm not mistaken, puts a big Google file out on Twitter. This Google file not only has a Google Doc, but it has a multitude of videos corroborating the shit that's in the Google Doc. But before we go over those videos, let's talk about what was in the Google Doc. Well, she states that she started dating this guy on the 17th of March 2023 through December of 2023. Are you meaning to put that on the screen, Carl?
Yes.
Okay.
As long as you're attending it, dog.
I had one of the documents on the screen.
Oh no, I was also behind. I was still seeing the Black Wukong stuff. My bad. ADHD talking. Anyways, this Google Doc contains a plethora of allegations, toxic behavior going on throughout the duration of this relationship, which was like half a year. She says that he socially isolated her. He emotionally manipulated her through constant abuse via long shouting matches over the phone for the most minute of bullshit. There's that. He also was caught stalking an ex for which he had nudes of still on his phone. Now, why in the fuck would you do that if you were over your ex and or mentally stable? You wouldn't.
We call them coomers.
Yes. He weaponized her mental health issues and past history of self-harm against her, i.e. berating her for sounding sad. He would take issue with her working situation. She was, I think, a content creator from what I can understand, as well. And he would call her stupid, because she wouldn't immediately take every bit of like suggestions he would give her for her content and such, and how she would run her things. To the point where he would tell her to end herself in Minecraft, and then after that said, "I absolutely meant that." He would utilize racial slurs against her to belittle her. He would utilize her past sexual assault against her. He would neglect her in the relationship, i.e., example, he would ignore her completely on her birthday, and then by the end of it, like the last few hours, I'm gonna assume, decides, I'm gonna get her some pastries and show up at her house, and it's all gonna be fine. It's not gonna be a big deal. I totally did the boyfriend thing. He would then berate her for not moving in with him immediately, and told her, "You're nothing without me."
What a fucking puta.
Unfortunately, she would move in with him in October 23, and this is the shit that would happen, because he would manipulate. He's the kind of guy that would manipulate. He ends up assaulting her after she moved in with him in October. And by assault, allegedly, he grabbed her by the hood of her jacket and drug her to the floor and drug her around. When she got away from him and tried to hide in a bathroom, he puts her in a headlock and covers her mouth to stop her from screaming.
Bro, what the fuck?
And the corroborating evidence that's given is some text messages between her and her father. And it says the following. I'm going to read this. But to be honest, soon as it goes shit again, I'm out and coming home makes it easier. Father says, I'm not happy with you taking any more shit. You don't have to. You deserve better. Is bear or cat on cat or kitten blink food now? And blink D you're right, I'm not going to take any more. I just feel weird leaving without saying anything when he's calmed down. I feel a bit stuck right now. You don't owe anyone anything, and if he hasn't apologized, groveled, then he shouldn't be surprised. If he's already, and it doesn't stop at words, it starts there and it gets worse. If he has already pushed you over and put his hands over your mouth, he will punch you eventually. Then he'll make a fun video to defend himself against. But do not let it get that far. Get out.
Bro, spitting.
Woof. If that all happened, then fucking woof. Other things he did while she was moved in with him. He'd break her personal property. The example she gave before the breakup was he took her glasses, broke them, and threw them out laughing.
Bro, what the fuck?
Yeah. He also said that her cat was his, and would constantly tell her, hey, I'm gonna take your cat away if you don't do what I say. Fucked up. This eventually comes to a head when she finally leaves him, December 28th, 2023. Post that, he continues to pester. Well, this is what happened during the breakup. So apparently he's assaulted her again during this time. She was cleaning in the kitchen, and he would pester her saying, what's wrong? Why are you sad? How can I help? So when he's asked to help, or he asks to help, she goes, okay, well, this is what you can do. You can do this, 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 and this. And because she gave him more than one task, he freaked out. I can't do more than one task at a time. I'm too incompetent, is what he's basically saying when he's yelling at her and berating her and having an absolute fucking freak out. She finally disengages and is like, I'm fucking done with this, and starts to walk away. When she proceeds to walk away, he decides to kick her in the back. And here is a conversation between them about this. From her, literally you. From him, what the fuck? From her, reminding you as you seem to have forgotten how abusive you are, and I forgave him. Man, stay the fuck away from you or me. She says, you kicked me, him, me, you psychotic freak. I'm not fucking dealing with this. Her, keep going. It's adding to the report. Him, you start shit today. You weird freak. Do you think it's fucking fair to do what you did earlier? Be honest. You actually think what you did in the kitchen was normal after yesterday you pulled the same shit. Her, you kicked me, him, and I told you not to, woman. Her,
woman is crazy.
You freaked out, not me. Her, answer the fucking question. That was him. Her, you're mental trying to convince yourself it wasn't you. By him, you ever talk about me again, and that's where it cuts off. She has her friend pick her up. This is still what happened after he kicks her in the back. Friend comes and picks her up while she's trying to get her shit to get out. He's berating her the entire time, telling her she's a piece of shit. She should KYS in Minecraft. And then he proceeds to break her property by destroying her 4K monitor, tearing apart her keyboard. Basically anything that she does that'll help her with work, he destroys. And she's got pictures of it too. After she breaks up with him, he decides, I need her back so bad. I gotta talk to me, please let me make it up to you. So he's sending her message after message after message after message, and she has receipts of this in the doc. And at some point, she blocks him. Because she blocks him, he starts sending her I'm sorry notes through Amazon gifts.
Huh?
Not only that, he goes on to send her handwritten notes apologizing. At some point...
Fuck.
Go ahead.
No, I was like, man, what the fuck?
Oh yeah. It gets worse. When that doesn't work, and she tries to get him to stop, I'm assuming, because I'm assuming that's the order of operations from what she's talking about. I didn't deliberately go through it, like, trying to put a timeline. I'm assuming that she's putting things together chronologically. At some point, she unblocks him to tell him to stop fucking talking to her. And he starts to try and use the pet and the situations with the pet against her by saying that she punched the cat and punched him, and because she did all that, his abuse is justified. That's what I got from that chain of receipts and him talking to her after he's unblocked, and then he's blocked again, obviously. Along with this Google Doc, there are multiple videos corroborating this. There's a video that says, you should lie down like a dog and just admit you're always wrong and I'm always right. That's the gist.
Literal words, verbatim.
Basically what it is. There's video evidence of him following her around the day they broke up, berating her. Hold on a second. 2 seconds.
Yeah, you're good, bro.
I had to tell my husband to get the food.
You gotta whip your man into shape.
Please get food.
And this is the thing. This is why I fucking go around.
Y'all
Okay,
motherfuckers are adorable. Y'all motherfuckers are adorable.
There's multiple Discord calls, one of which him saying that he wants to bash her head in with a brick. That's the one that's circulated everywhere. He literally says, I want to fucking end you. I want to bash your head in with a brick. I hate you so much.
Am I even safe to play that on camera?
I don't think you
Probably
are.
wouldn't.
Jesus fucking Christ.
I probably wouldn't.
Brother, I would not.
I probably wouldn't. And then there's a recording of him groveling to her, probably during the time after they broke up, saying that it wasn't your fault. I was stuck in this cycle of being, I'm so wrong for everything I've done. Please take me back. Please, please, please.
It's
disgusting.
Damn, that's crazy as fuck.
But there's more. There's multiple videos about him demeaning her for not taking advice on content creation and how she runs her business. And saying your life might be down the fucking drain purely because she wouldn't listen to everything he says and take it as gospel. The last video on there is a screen recording of all the messages of him groveling and trying to get her to come back to him and crying because he doesn't have closure because she won't talk to him.
Now, is at least the life might be down the drain one safe?
I wouldn't play any of them.
I would skip on that, brother. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I would not play any of them. The reason being is because I think he throws slurs out there in those. I wouldn't do it.
Okay.
I would just they're gonna have to take my word for it and go find the document themselves. They literally
It's
just
not
have
hard.
to look up.
It's really
I'm
not hard
Alex.
right now,
You'll
guys.
find it.
You'll
find it.
What I will do is I will show the fact that it exists. We have it on our
Yes,
hands.
that's fine. You can show them it exists. It's real. I'm not bullshitting this. I literally spent the last hour going through all of this stuff. It's like an 80-plus page document with... Carl, can you not show that on screen?
Yeah, I took that off. My bad.
Dios mío.
Jesus Christ. Mimulus comes out multiple times. iNamber comes out multiple times. Jake Baz comes out. Will and E comes out. Italian Bot comes out. Harry Irvine comes out. George Clarkey comes out. Arthur TV comes out. But that's not all. Another accusation drops from
Another accusation hit.
another plane hits the second twin tower. Take the pin out because it's from who? King Ani, the same one that helped with the Slazo slander situation. Yeah. She says that they dated between June 2017 and March 2018. Her accusations are he gaslit her, he used demeaning comments against her, he would Sudoku bait her, he would manipulate what she would say and do to try and weaponize it against her that she's wrong, and allegedly he grabbed her arm in a fit of rage. There's also a video that's linked in there that I'm not gonna look at. I didn't look at. I'm assuming is a Sabi video of them when they broke up. That was later removed, but she archived it. That's not all. A third X comes out. The Pentagon is hit, y'all. From Jess Carter, and it's in a note post. It doesn't have. It has a screenshot to corroborate. So this one is the least corroborated, I think, of the group. She allegedly dated him between November 2018 and February 2020. Her accusations are what the first situation she brings up is that they're out on, I guess, like a YouTube convention, and he's so fucking wasted and doesn't care that he doesn't realize she's laying in the same bed as him. He fires off the alarm saying she's disappeared. How do you find her? Friends show up and start banging on the hotel room door, and she literally had been in the same bed with them this entire time.
What the fuck is bro doing?
She alleges that he was cheating on her with another ex behind her back, i.e. going out to the bar with her and other friends and not saying anything to Jess. That's fucked up. He would flip out on her because he breaks up with her, says she's not worth his time. She tweets out about it saying she's hurt, and then he flips out on her because she tweeted about it. Okay, fucker.
You're gonna ruin my reputation. You maybe earned it, bitch.
But somehow they end up back together again. He leaves his laptop open one day when he goes out, and she finds that he's been flirting with random women online, just being a fucking sex pest. Of course, like everybody else, gaslighting, manipulation, neglectfulness, including on her fucking birthday. Just like with the first accusations, he would socially isolate her. He would body shame her by saying he hates fat people and you're fucking fat. He completely neglected her during the COVID epidemic when most of the important people, like not most, I would say several of the important people in her life died from COVID. And basically said, I don't have any fucking time to hang out with you. I don't care. If you're a boyfriend, you're supposed to be there for your partner while they're
doing your shit for your people. What the fuck, dog?
Right. And this is all while he would weaponize his own mental illness against her and say, I'm depressed, you need to take care of me, you need to love me and pay every waking moment of your life, every breath you take is supposed to be for me and making me feel better.
Oh man, if you had the asshole.
Yeah. Not bueno. Not
in the slightest.
Nope. But that's everything that's come out from Alex. There's been some other stuff that's come out of people being absolute shitwads towards the first alleged victim. I just don't give a shit about. It's just people being fucking dumb. People making sock accounts probably because they only posted once and it's about this, going after her because she's a bitch. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
I'd probably add that any person who calls himself in a relationship should be capable of being there for their partner. And if you get to the point of, what did he say here in this document? There was a particular sentence there that I cringed at physically. I believe it was the first few ones in the first 5 pages of her tell-all. Let's see here, page... here we go. It was the first page and then things proceeding from there. Sensitive subject for me, officially dating on March 17th, 2023, giving each other 100% of our attention, that's the honeymoon phase. After that, time passed, small things became big issues, which were over Discord. Alex felt that because I was home all day and from work that I should be able to call 24/7 and shut out all social interactions I have with my friends. I invited him to groups and stopped working as much, and then he would start saying toxic shit to her. Let's see here. From 21:30 to 21:44, now or no, I'm with everyone, but I can leave. Don't worry, I'll just go to bed. hash face okay. Lol, what a day. Guess everyone has something better to do. Nobody wants me around. It's class. I love it. I love this. Wow, really? After asking for a break, join, go on it now. Join, child. Join. Rockstar fingers, join. You can't give me 10 minutes to calm down then talk. Am I a mind reader? You hung up on me before I could say anything. You fucking retard. Ha ha ha, you knew. Stop calling me shit, Alex. How much that pissed me off. Cry? I don't care. I am. This was from 2/22 to 7/0/25. For why? Because I'm in a state. Okay, well forget it all then. I did all I could. No, you literally said if this is the best you had to offer. I don't know how I ended up with someone like you. And I guess that's literally it then. Considering where I am right now, but you can't do that. At 23/22, doesn't say what dates these are. Then I'm throwing fits. Idiots talk, yawn. You text like a retard, so call me. You say everything wrong on text. I'll stop then, because you're fucking stupid, so call me. Nope, I'm not. Yes, ellipses, so call me. Nope, I'm not. This is part of the same conversation. Yes, you clearly are. Bye. Fuck you. Weird fucking idiot. You win. Fuck you. Understand I didn't call because you're insulting me. Fuck you. With an X. Fuck you. Next one. 14/31. Oi, please don't be silly over this. I'm just scared of annoying you. Yeah, okay. It's all good, smiley face. Another time. You sure? No, like, once your work is done. Like, when you aren't stressed out. I was fine with today. I'm nearly done, and I thought you could help with all the Hello Flesh stuff. But yeah, just do whatever. I said the other day that I wanted you to ask me to come over, etc. And if you don't want to today, let's not do it. Kind of the opposite of what I wanted, so let's leave it. I got stuff to do. I said I wanted to once your work is done, and I asked if I can afterward. I'm going back to work now. Question mark? Talk later. What the fuck? I literally asked you if I can after your work. Well, I am. You can reread and see why. Can I come over when you're done at work? If you don't want to do today, I'm not being silly. No. And just because you said that, I say I'm scared. Doesn't mean anything. To annoy you while you're working? Question mark? You didn't listen the other day when I guess when I told you I wanted you to make me feel like I mattered a little more. So I can. Literally roundabout way of saying, can I not come over today, but putting it in my court. Please stop. Can I come over when you aren't working so we don't repeat yesterday, doing this to me? How about, I don't want to piss you off. Don't come over at all. I said I'm literally, like, what? That'd be easier, I think. I said I'm literally scared, Kate. Nah, this has me pissed off. Making it my choice over something already arranged. You asked me to ask more. I just did, and that's a problem. Then trying to back me into a corner. No? Question mark? Call me. Funny man. I just said I understand you, and you said you hate me, and goodbye. Have a good day, man. Stop fucking talking over me. You're unbearable to talk to. I can't cope with it. You got what you wanted. See ya. I didn't. I wanted reassurance. Got an argument instead. Shut up. Please. Fuck off. I'm annoying for saying that I still want to see you permanently. Oh, nyai. O-N-Y. God. Ot. A-H-U-T. The fuck up. I said to forget all this and to let me see you. After you said you hate me.
I don't know why that popped off, Brian.
A mow.
Don't worry about it. My shit just popped off for a second.
I hate you genuinely. Like, stop. You set this up. Alex, what the fuck? I'd like to address that during each of these, in these first, it was 8 pages, excuse me. His handle was Munkus. Schnookums. Then Alex, and a couple of these. Alex. Man, what a Casanova, girls. Don't you want a man like this in your life? Come on. For the low cost of running them fades and them hands in your mouth, you can get yourself an abusive boyfriend too.
For the low cost of a couple of fades, hey, look, you got yourself a real bad bitch, huh?
Wow. Fucking wow.
What a shit show.
I sped read a lot of those. Wow, it gets worse, chat. It's a you have to read it. 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 Bestseller. It's gonna get a Pulitzer Prize. I promise.
Oh God.
It's gonna come with a 10 to 20 sentence to life. How is he not in jail yet? Oh my God. I'm gonna shut up and eat my oatmeal. Take it away, horror.
Take what away?
The rest of the story. Is there any more to report?
That was it.
Okay. Wow.
That was everything.
How is he not in jail? How is he not in jail already? Oh my fucking God. He needs to
I don't know. I don't know.
Like, I've seen the clips that we can't play. I already knew that shit, but I thought it was going to be pretty much this open shut case. No, chat. No. It is worse. You have to read her statement to really get it. Man. Of course, they were already going to denounce him before this detail came out, but that's the friend that you guys signal boosted into a position of power for 7+ years? Good fucking riddance. Holy shit. And you guys have to remember, this is only happening because he got exploited here and because of all the groups he ran to. I know he ran to the big gay, as I call them, the LGBT plus community to hide himself away. And they want his scalp for the shit. You know, sometimes the worst people you know have a great point. I ain't gonna stop them while they're already cooking them. I want them char-broiled to a nice seared finish. I would say he is permanently done in YouTube. There is.
Yeah, that motherfucker's donezo.
There's no coming back from this, bro. There's no coming back unless you become transgender.
It's so Jover for this guy.
It's not. You have to become transgender. You gotta get the schnip. You've got to have proof that you got the schnip. Oh, the post office.
No, I know what you're talking about, huh?
Like he's got to remove all testosterone from his body and show that he's emasculated and has no ability to harm another person. And even still, then they're gonna say, yeah, but you know, testosterone and da 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 da. Because holy fucking, and on tape? On tape is crazy, bro. I don't know if we'll ever.
Bro actually got diddied.
I don't know if we'll ever have confirmation that this was during a live stream, because this feels like she recorded it without him knowing, so that he would be willing to double down like this. And I don't know why he thought that as a boyfriend to another content creator that they wouldn't utilize the platform. It's giving knowing what we know that it's not this, but it's giving the same context around Caitlyn, around Amaranth, and how her husband supposedly didn't know she was live on air the moment he decided to confront her. Like, how are you a person's manager and you don't know that? Or in this case, how are you a content creator and you don't suspect that this person who you've been abusing is exposing you over the air? How do you believe that the things that you say in private are not going to be used against you in the court of public opinion, let alone a court of fucking law? And concerning this, I could care less about the public opinion. Realistically, if I would have it the way that I would have wanted it, I would have wanted to see this if this had been like something that was brought to YouTube directly to immediately disenfranchise him as a case example of an extreme special case of a person abusing someone using his YouTube connections as a way to cover for himself. So basically the inverse of what's happening with the Illuminati situation, where he's using his platform as a way to say, no, this is not true, this is not true, this is fallacious allegory. Like, no, bro, you abuse women, you're on tape, you gotta go, you can't have a platform no more.
Yeah, ain't no fucking with you no more. That's it, it's over.
Like, not only are we taking your channel away, we are immediately pressing charges ourselves as YouTube because we have allowed you to gain the power to do.
We got an obligation now.
Like, the money that we've spent, that we've paid you through the YouTube partnership program, has probably been used to destroy somebody's property and someone's life. So we're gonna go ahead and enter into a class action against you, with her as the plaintiff and you as the defendant. And good luck. Because every single bit of this was definitely broadcasted on the YouTube platform, which means they have to now use this as evidence in court. And they should. And I hope she wins. And I hope he fucking rots for it.
Yeah, amen.
Fucking...
What a bastard.
Can any of y'all 69 gods please stop being wild like this? Why is it...
Hey, run for your life.
Why is it so hard for you guys to be committed partners in relationships with people you care about?
Like, even the non-monogamous fuckers out there like myself, look, just don't beat your fucking partners. Don't be a fucking degenerate. That's so hard to fucking ask, dog.
Apparently.
Mierda, man. It's so bad.
Anywho, chat. Who is this? I'm Alex. I'm Alex. It is I'm Alex Struggler. It's I'm Alex.
Read what...
Sorry, go ahead.
I'm gonna say, look at the thumbnail, Struggler.
Yeah, thumbnail tells you a lot of what you need, homie.
I have no jokes. I have no jokes left, chat. I have no jokes. I'm just gonna start this theme music. I'm just gonna go ahead and press this button, and I don't know how I ain't got no segue for that one.
It's time to bounce. Bye.
Goodbye, chat.
Take care, chat.
Support the channel. Do algorithmically promoted things. Immediately cleanse your palates. Immediately. That is an order. Cleanse your palates. Oh my god.
Some shit posts right now.
Go to Twitter. Go to Twitter. Post memes. Don't you make fun of my clown music. In fact.
Close it out.
I will press you, chat. This is call to action. Hashtag fried chicanery palette. Post your memes. We want to see them. I'll see you guys on the internet. Holy shit, this guy's crazy.